Happy 4th of July. Yes, this is Unity of Greater Hartford. I'm here in our church sanctuary, and my name is Reverend Christine Boylan. I'm the minister here, and I welcome you. This morning, we attempted to do a live video on Facebook, but our camera, for some strange reason, was having problems. And so we eventually just had to let that go. But everyone said, you must go on and give a partial Sunday service. And that's what I'm here to do. So, hi Janice, how are you this morning? Hi Jocelyn. And so yes, I'm sorry that it didn't work this morning, but we're gonna do a mini service, all right? So let's do that. And let's just take a moment right now to become centered in prayer. And so today we pray. We pray affirming that we are free and that our freedom does not come from a political declaration. It does not come because of where we live. It does not exist because of our skin color or because of any other thing about us as a human being. Our true freedom comes when we know that we are a spiritual being. And we also embrace our humanness, but we first embrace ourselves as spiritual beings. And so today we pray affirming that truth for us. And that while situations may occur in our lives, circumstances may change, things happening all about us, happening to us, none of that matters. But what is really important is what is happening within us. And within us, we know that we are one with the divine, that we are the very expression of the divine, and that is where our freedom lies. And so we breathe into that knowingness, into that truth about ourselves. And we embrace our true freedom. And so it is. Amen. So thank you for coming back on. There's Joanne Garland. You didn't get enough of me this morning. Thank you for coming on, and I am going to just share the Sunday talk so that we're ready for next week also, because this week and next week are connected. So, again, happy 4th of July. Happy 4th of July here at Unity of Greater Hartford. It's certainly a day to celebrate our freedoms, isn't it? And yet, nowadays, it's not such an easy thing, our freedoms, aren't there? There's so many different ideas of what freedom is and how my freedom may feel like it constricts your freedom, or your freedom may be actually taking away one of my freedoms. So what is freedom? Well, perhaps before we deal with this outer idea of freedom, we need to start deeper and then work our way out. Because who we are and what we are have a lot more to do with our freedoms than we may think. So let's talk about those two questions. Who am I and what am I? Who am I? Well, since I've arrived in Connecticut, I've had many opportunities to be introduced. I've been introduced as, this is my minister. This is my neighbor. This is my friend. So who am I? Who are you? Perhaps you're a mom or dad, a grandmother or a granddad, an aunt, an uncle, a homeowner, an apartment dweller, a musician, an artist, an hourly worker, a salaried worker, retired. Perhaps you are a gardener, a reader. Well, everybody in Unity seems to be a reader. But a brother, a sister, a cousin, and on and on. Who am I? I am all or some of those things. And yet, is that me? Is that you? Does that really define you? Well, yes and no. That defines your personality, perhaps your relationship to other people, who you are here on planet Earth. But that is not the whole of you. What about that other question? What are you? What are you? Many Unity Truth students would say, I am a spiritual being creating this human experience, or I am divine. I am an expression of the divine. I am a child of God. And you know what? All of those answers are true. And yet, how many of us have moved those answers from an intellectual understanding into a daily living experience? How many of us have moved from an intellectual knowing to a heart embrace? And if we did, how would our lives be different? Can we actually live what am I every single day? I know many people who are striving to do that. Some are coming pretty close, but they're few and far between. So why is it so easy to know and live who we are, and yet it's not so easy to know and live what we are? Well, that is the question that we're going to be attempting to answer this Sunday and next. And then we will gather to go even deeper in a book study class on Zoom on three consecutive Monday evenings, and beginning July 19th. The information about that book study class is on our website. It's also in our newsletter. So please take the time to figure that out, to join us. We're going to be using the book, What Are You? It's written by Imelda Shanklin, and it is a classic Unity metaphysical tour de force, okay? And it's in its 26th reprint. So she's got to be doing and saying something that is connecting with people. And so I hope you'll join us. And if you don't have the book, you can put a donation in for the book and we'll make sure you get it. You can go to unity.org and order it. You can go to Thrift Books and order it. So I hope you'll get the book and join us on July 19th. Well, she wrote in her book, she begins, it's almost the very first page. She talks about this dilemma that I was just discussing. We're so easy to get connected to who am I, but it seems so difficult and elusive to get connected to the what am I. And if you've been she says, if you've been considering yourself wholly as a personal entity, you also will answer the question, what am I, incorrectly. Because you're going to be answering it as who am I instead of what am I. The error in your mind, which causes you to assume the who when you should be recognizing the what, is the source of every misunderstanding in life that perplexes you. It's a pretty bold statement, isn't it? Yeah, wow. Well, now, as a good Unity Truth student, you may say, oh, no. I answered that question, what am I, correctly. I had the right answer, and you probably did. And yet, you're still not living that answer. Many of us get stuck in believing the who we are is the full truth. And then before we can even say the word what, we are off into a feeling of shame, guilt, not good enough, lack, limitation, and many other negative self-images. Sometimes the negative self-image lasts an hour, a day, a week, sometimes even a lifetime. But here's the interesting aspect of that personal who are you. The personal, the who, can be changed. You have changed it many, many times in your lifetime, and you will continue to change it. Now, there may be something you're thinking about, well, no, I can't change it. If you can change anything about you, you can change everything about you, the who of you. When you were 2 years old and your parents said no, you might have thrown yourself down on the floor and had a tantrum. Well, nowadays, I hope, as an adult, when someone says no to you, you react a bit different than you did when you were 2 years old. You changed. And when that who am I changes, when you change, that's the only thing that gets changed, the who. The what am I is changeless. It's not affected. It eternally will be what it eternally has been, for it is of God. And believe it or not, that's the good news. The author writes, in the fact that the personal, the who we are, can be changed, lies your hope of achievement. You can keep changing. In the fact that the impersonal, the what you are, is changeless, well, that lies your assurance of being able to express the spiritual what of you. Only knowing the personal, the who you are, is only knowing yourself on a very superficial basis. And when we only know the who, we very easily buy into negative ideas about ourselves. We doubt ourselves. The idea of us being divine or the expression of God seems nice, but kind of ludicrous, right? We find ourselves in reaction to the world, in reaction to other people, and in that moment, we believe that is all that is. Last week, I asked you to use your powers of imagination and power. First, to imagine a positive quality about someone you admire, and then to see yourself having that same positive quality. Then we worked with the faculty of power, which is the spoken word. And so we put the power of the spoken word with this positive quality. And it looked like this. I am, and then that quality. I am that quality. And I heard wonderful positive qualities people were saying. I am courageous. I am abundant. I am honest. I am trustworthy. I am flexible. I am intelligent. I am strong. I am happy. I am faith-filled. It seemed like everyone created an I am statement, and they had a lot of fun saying their I am statement to each other here in the sanctuary. So during the week, how many times did you repeat that to yourself? That wonderful I am statement. 50 times? All right, 20? 10? Once? None? Yet, we will spend lots of mind energy mulling over negative ideas about ourselves. I am scared. I am poor. I am dishonest. I am stuck. I am stupid. I am weak. I am sad. I don't know. I am negative, negative, negative. Miss Shanklin writes, you can become immune to doubt. And she means doubt about yourself. When you learn that the impersonal, the who am I, the impersonal, the what am I, the spiritual what am I, is in destructible. Poise, peace, calm rules your life when you awaken to the fact that the changes which come to the personal, the who am I, are not the work of something outside of yourself, but rather the working of your mind. The working of our mind. What does that mean? You are certainly responsible for your thoughts, and yet your thoughts are not you. You say, I know, I think, I understand. And that is the mental aspect of you. But you also have a spiritual and a physical aspect of you. Yes, you really, really are a spiritual being. We might not fully know or understand it, but we know that there is something more to us than just this changeable personality, the who I am. And of course, there's a physical aspect of you. You say, my body, my life. There is a physical you. The author stresses that you must remember that these three aspects, the spiritual, the mental, and the physical, constitute you, and that we need to embrace all of them. Today, let's spend a bit more time on that spiritual aspect of you. Spiritually, what are you? Miss Shanklin tells us, you are a soul that has forgotten its divine identity. A soul now struggling to remember in the midst of time and in the confusion of experiences that you are the living heir of the living God. You are the idea in the mind of God. And that idea must be given expression through you. You are the child of God, but not have you always acted the part. Yeah. She has this wonderful analogy of an amnesia victim. And you've often seen it, on TV, someone is suffering from amnesia. And everyone encourages, remember who you are, try harder. And they try so hard to remember who they are. They persist in it over and over and over again. Who am I? And so she says, we must do the same in persisting in recalling our spiritual identity. While you pray, meditate, practice spiritual truth, she says, a flicker, then a beam, then the full light of restored consciousness will dawn, and you will know yourself. Do you believe that you are wise? I am wise. There are many who think or believe the very opposite, and they might spend time and energy looking around for proof of that. And guess what? They're going to find it. But even that negative proof is only a current situation that can be changed. If you think you are not wise, you can become wise. However, the spiritual you can never be diminished. And coming from that viewpoint, I am wise is true and accurate right now. In your true identity, that what are you? You are the mind of God. The author writes, this mind must be permitted to act in you. It knows all things. It makes no mistakes. In you, it recognizes itself as beauty. In you, it sustains its perfection. You become aware of its work in you when you do not crowd it out by the arrogance of your personal mind. The personal mind that insist on its smallness. Remember, the personal mind is the who you are, the one that doesn't think you are wise. Allow the divine to rise up within you and stop arguing with it. Oh, stop arguing with it. We will argue for our stupidity, won't we? Oh, no, you don't understand. Yeah, oh, no, yeah, I understand the spiritual is wise, but you don't understand me. I've been told since I was little that I was dumb. And we will argue for our stupidity. How often will we argue for our wisdom? And to continue to argue for our stupidity, for our less than thinking, for our lack thinking, that simply delays our spiritual and physical growth. If you were to let the mind of God act without interference on your part, you would quickly fully know what you are. We need to stop arguing with the divine, insisting on our smallness, and instead start insisting on our divinity. The personal hurts, pains, sadness, lacks, and the limitations, they all begin in our mind. The author writes that thoughts of unfitness are defamation of character, of your character. They persuade your body to misrepresent your spiritual nature. Thoughts based on the recognition of your true identity will reconstruct your body in a way to make you physically fit. Your personal identity automatically adjusts itself to your thinking. But there are no shortcuts. I'm sorry, no shortcuts. No one can do this for you. No one can even tell you the best way to do it for you. You must embark on this journey with discipline and commitment. More is required than mere wishing. Don't get upset with me. That's what Imelda Shanklin wrote. More is required than mere wishing. Daily work is required. You must consciously connect with the mind of God, and you must strive to stay connected. It is being open and receptive more to the divine than to this physical world. That's how you truly change your life. The personality of you, which may show itself in various negative and positive ways, is really just a report card. It is the observable form of your mental process. It is not truth. It is not the full of you. It is what you are currently thinking about you. Your thinking personality, the changeable who, reports the progress that you have made in the impersonal, unchangeable what being expressed. Ms. Shanklin writes that it is the outside of the inside. It informs you, and you are encouraged or warned by its evidence. She continues, let God express through you, and you will see that not only are you like the divine, but that you are a form of divinity. Going back to this man who suffers from amnesia, that person does not recognize themselves, but they are still themselves, right? You are the idea of God, capable of perfect expression. Someday, you will become wholly awake to your divine identity and will begin consciously to take on the image of that divine perfection. You never will know your true identity until you let the mind of God instruct you as to what you are. So, this year, Memorial Day weekend, I am on my way to visit my family in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, but I only get as far as Wethersfield when my car starts acting very strange. So strange that I need to pull over. And I call my mechanic. And they say, oh, no. Come back here. Come back to us. Do not continue traveling. And when I get there, I am informed that my car is too unsafe to drive and that it will cost me $5,000 to make it safe. What do I do? Well, first I wanted to cry. I could feel my eyes tearing up. I was ready to burst out in tears. But I decided to pause. I asked if I could have some time to think about it and if they could give me a rental car and could move everything from my car into the rental car, and I would call them later on that day. So what did I do? Well, I went back to my apartment, and the very first thing I did was I had lunch. You know, for me, it never works to be dealing with this stuff on an empty stomach. So I had lunch, right? And then I took a breath. I let my brother and sister know that the trip was off. And then I called two friends who know a lot of stuff about cars, right? Whew. So I just decided to sit there in silence and just breathe, just follow my breathing, being open and receptive to divine wisdom and strength. And then I called up and said, okay, I want to come back and I want to talk about my options, right? And when I got there, I said, I'm here to talk about options, but I'm not making any decisions today, okay? So, you know, we talked about the age of the car and the things that needed to be fixed. And then let's talk about maybe it's time to get a new car. Maybe I would lease, maybe I would buy. But I said, I'm not making any decisions. And so I left with a lot of information. I got home, I ate again. And I also just paused. Let me just breathe and be still. Because I know, what am I? I just don't know how to access it right now because my emotions are so full. Let me just pause. So after a few days of this, of researching, of talking, of praying, meditating, breathing, eating, I decided to buy a new car. And this past week, I took that brand new car and I drove back to Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and finally had that visit with my brother and sister, and it was wonderful. And it was a wonderfully safe drive. Now, that was my decision. That was my choice. I wanted to be able to clearly see everything and make a choice, not a reaction. You might, in that same situation, might make a different choice. But mine was, if I had not stopped, my choice would not really be a choice. Because I discovered in that whole process, all right, well, what were the tears about? Oh, yeah, I didn't want to miss an opportunity to visit my family. Yeah, that was sad. That was a disappointment. But is there more going on here? Is there a report card here for me? I said, well, let me think about this. And I realized there was fear. Oh, okay, that's interesting. What's the fear about? That I didn't have enough money. Oh, there's not enough. Oh, well, wait a minute. I'm a Unity minister. I'm not supposed to be having those thoughts. And then it felt kind of bad. Well, no, that's a report card. I still have some work to do on prosperity issues. That's important to know. Okay. Now, let me look at this situation with clear eyes and a clear heart and a clear mind, because I do know what I am. Let me clearly look at it. Can I look at my finances clearly? Can I afford a new car? How much of a new car can I afford? Let me take it all in, very slowly, very carefully. Let me make a choice instead of reacting out of fear to what was happening out here. Let me make a choice. So I didn't go into denial about my finances, but rather I chose to clearly view my finances. And with my full understanding of who I am and what I am, I chose to make a peaceful decision instead of a fearful reaction. So I was happy to look at that report card and to take it in, because doing so, I didn't allow fear to control the decision. And I took time to remember what I am. And that allowed me to have this wonderful past few days with my family, driving home in a safe car and able to truly be with them without any worry. My instant expression, though, was a reaction full of fear. And that was at odds with my truth, my divinity. My expression of fear was the cause of my distress. As Miss Shanklin says, I think it's pretty much on page 1, and I quoted this earlier, the error in your mind which causes you to assume the who when you should recognize the what is the source of every misunderstanding in life that perplexes you. Now it doesn't seem so bold. Now it seems pretty spot on, doesn't it? Yeah. I today am letting go of those misunderstandings. How about you? Want to join me in that? Let's let go of that misunderstanding. Let's get a hold of that I am statement from last week, from last Sunday. If you weren't here, if you didn't do it, just go listen to it. There's time in that recording for you to create your I am statement. So let's grab those I am statements. And today, July 4th, let's shout it from the rooftop. Let's yell it from the rooftops. Whatever that I am statement is, let's shout it from the rooftops. For that is your freedom. That is your truth. Have a happy, glorious July 4th. Namaste.